In the Purgatory manuscript, we have some interesting teaching on the use of the spoken word. It is something that occurs in the intuitions given to many a mystic soul. They have understood that the word is the great traitor of the soul. St. John of the Cross indicates in his maxims that being a great talker is incompatible with the interior life. And it is logical, for talking a lot is to leak a lot and to lose a lot. Indeed, St. Charles Borromeo indicates something of that when talking to his own clergy. He indicates that to lose the grace of encounter with the Lord by letting everything evaporate in many words is a tragedy, as is to approach the celebration of the sacred mysteries in leaking mode by talking a lot in the sacristy. We have to choose, do we want intimacy with the Lord or not? And if we do, we need to take the steps that demands. The devil actually has been quite clever at reducing the intensity of interior life of, for instance, monks and nuns who would have had in the past a very strict rule of silence. Not everywhere, but quite often one does see that numbers go down where certain essential ingredients have just gone through the window, whereas other houses which have maintained things are richly blessed. And it is logical, for the Lord will send vocations, generous ones, to those places where they will be able to do what they want to do without being classed, ostracized. It has no sense to go into a place where even those forming the young ones do not believe anymore in certain essential ingredients of the monastic life. Way back in the 1800s, this teaching comes through in the Purgatory manuscript, and it is worth taking it on board. At the beginning of this year, says the nun in Purgatory, take as a practice that of not uttering a single useless word. That's actually to be found in the Gospel, in Matthew 12:36. We are told there that we will have to answer for every idle word. Don't express your outlook on anything unless someone forces you to. How much more we learn when we actually listen in a conversation, and how many blunders we make by talking too much. We would leave a conversation in peace quite often if we are content to be somewhat passive, whereas always having to insist on our own point of view can have its effect, perhaps, but can certainly also have its counter effect, that we can lose a lot of peace and therefore intimacy with the interior guest and master. Don't express your outlook on anything unless someone forces you to. Even for useful things, talk little. In the same way, never raise your eyes out of curiosity. And that could be translated in modern terms: don't engage with a screen unless you have to. Let Jesus every morning have your first glance, your first thought, your first word. And let it be a word of gratitude and love. The mode of the soul that goes through life in grateful attitude of thanksgiving is very different from that of the soul who is always wanting more and never returning thanks. We should be beings of praise. After all, we have no right of anything. This day is a bonus. At the foot of the tabernacle, place your heart in His for the day, the whole day, and let your conversations be with Him till evening falls. That, of course, is what the whole panoply of defense in the monastic life is about: creating a space where the soul can dialogue without ceasing with the interior guest. Pray without ceasing. At the end of the day, deplore once again your failings at His feet. Thank Him for His graces. You know what I've told you on this matter. This we can take on board. Just realizing that a day in dialogue with Jesus is one thing, and that of frittering away our day in empty talk is another, which